The world in 2050. 2050. What a weird term to write. An awkward thing to mention. When I was young, it was unimaginable. It took me forever to grasp the context that I'd be around at that time. 2050 felt like a long shot, like we'd never get around to it, like the few who got around to that era could deal with everything we'd left behind. Good morning, esteemed guests. I'll start by saying that this is clearly my own version of 2050. Many a time I hear words of world leaders talking about statistics that are very disengaging to any 17-year-old girl. Words that narrate pages and pages of what seems so monotonous that I can't help but give up halfway. I can't help but not see the relation to how it would, in the foreseeable future, affect me. Often us millennials, or Generation Z as we are now termed, look to our iPhone screens for answers. Daily Mail on Snapchat is the only news most people our age see. The next celebrity overdose or which celeb is pregnant. What I'm trying to put in perspective is that often we're just teenagers in our room blindsided by the press on what actually goes on around the world. That climate change and world poverty is just a double tap away from scrolling down our Instagram and a mere notification on our screen that's a swipe away from being forgotten. They say ignorance is bliss, and in all honesty, it holds truth. We will eventually get caught up with the world's news, but as of now, we will sit in our bedrooms and ponder what game is new and which overpriced handbag to buy next. We will eventually hear the influential words of Stephen Hawking and Wangari Maathai, but I doubt we'd have enough time to correct all that we have caused right now. For my hopes and dreams, they are sadly coinciding with most. I can't help but be basic. While I know the world is only getting worse and statistics more life-threatening, I can't help but hope for a better 2050. One with sustainable levels of climate, one where plastic waste and factory pollution is not regarded as common, and where the large pool of national parks I grew up visiting as a child are still there when I grow up. One where the only time we stop human waste, like using plastic straws for example, is not because of celebrity endorsement and social media trends. We are taught to be hopeful of the future, but how can we, where trees are disregarded as nothing but things that occupy way too much space, things to cut down when any human needs them, things that are simply free so we can use them, consume them, and deplete them at any rate we'd like to. That's how our brains are programmed, to hog all the free goods and earn as much as we possibly can, because a large bank balance is more applauded than people that go out of their way to encourage environmental awareness. As for what I fear, it's a world with stubs of tree trunks, dry riverbeds, and future generations referring to Google pictures of what we have right in front of us right now. It's people having to buy air and having the poor work at every command of a person that has a few more dollar signs to their bank account just to breathe. My fear is driving down a road being surrounded by a concrete jungle. It's being engulfed by fumes of cars rather than hearing the chirping of birds. It's having fashion brands removing fashion-forward ways of wearing gas tanks to live, to exist. Is there hope? Yes. I think with meetings like Kyoto Protocol and UNEP summits, we're becoming more environmentally aware at the higher levels. We're putting caps on carbon emissions of businesses, but not on day-to-day activities. We are understanding the words Wangari Maathai and activists after her have spoken, and we can now comprehend what our actions lead to, and hence, we are making a change. It's not at every stage, but it's a change in the right direction. I'm not looking for a 2050 with no environmental pollution. I'm just asking for a sustainable amount of pollution. One that doesn't overexhaust our natural resources. One that doesn't bring our lives to complete disaster. And one that doesn't one day lead to our inevitable demise. Thank you.